The Aurora Voyager moved through deep space like a silent giant, carrying more than 20,000 humans toward a new world. Lights inside the ship were soft and warm, and most passengers were relaxing, sleeping, or staring at the stars. But one human sat alone near the observation window. Ethan Hale, a quiet young man who always liked silence more than noise. Ethan watched a distant dying star slowly burning out. Its light flickered in the dark, like a candle struggling to stay alive. For some reason, he felt a strange sadness when he saw it. He didn't know why. It was just a star. But something inside him whispered that the star was important, somehow connected to him. He looked around. Families laughed, children played, and old travelers read books. Everything looked normal, peaceful, calm. Then the calm ended. A deep vibration shook the entire ship. Drinks fell off tables. Passengers grabbed their seats. The observation glass in front of Ethan trembled, like something powerful was pushing against it from outside. At first, people thought it was just normal turbulence. Small space vibrations happen often. But then the lights flickered. Not once. Not twice. They flickered like someone was switching them on and off very fast. The ship AI's voice came through the speakers, but it sounded broken, almost scared. Attention, unknown energy detected. Please remain. The voice cut off. Everyone froze. Ethan slowly stood up and walked toward the window. He didn't know why, but he felt a pull like something outside was calling him. Then he saw it. A strange blue ripple moved through space, like a wave of light bending reality. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a meteor. It was something unseen before. The ripple twisted, folded, and opened like a giant eye. Passengers gasped. Some screamed. The ripple expanded until it covered half of the visible space. The glass turned blue from its glow. Then something stepped out of it. A shape, tall, thin, shining like it was made from living stars. The being did not have a clear face, but Ethan felt it watching him. Out of thousands of passengers, it looked at only him. His heart began to race. Not from fear. From a strange feeling he couldn't explain. It felt like he had seen this being before, in dreams or in a memory he could never recall. Suddenly, the entire ship shook violently. People fell. Luggage crashed the floor. The blue ripple dragged the ship toward itself like a massive invisible hand. The ship AI came back, glitching. Warning, gravitational pull unknown origin, human systems failing. The floor tilted. Gravity changed direction. Passengers slid across the hallway, screaming for help. Crew members ran toward emergency stations. Ethan grabbed a nearby rail and tried to hold on, but the force was too strong. The ship was no longer flying. It was being pulled like a toy. Then something burned on Ethan's wrist. He looked down and saw a small symbol glowing under his skin. Not a tattoo. Not a wound. A mark made of bright blue light. The same color as the ripple. The pain grew stronger. His vision blurred. He fell to his knees. And then everything stopped. The ship froze in mid-motion. Gravity turned normal. People hung in the air for a second before dropping softly to the ground. Silence returned. A dangerous, empty silence. The blue being outside took one slow step forward. Its body shimmered like galaxies swirling inside it. Ethan saw stars, planets, and energy inside that shape, like the being carried a whole universe in its chest. Then Ethan heard a sound. Not from the speakers. Not from outside. Inside his mind. A whisper. Chosen. Ethan's eyes widened. Chosen? Chosen for what? Before he could think, the ship jerked again, and the being vanished into the blue ripple. The ripple shrank like a closing door, folding into itself until it disappeared completely. The moment it vanished, Ethan collapsed. His vision turned dark. He felt himself falling even though he was lying still. And then he heard soft voices, familiar voices. But he couldn't understand them. When he finally woke up, the world around him had changed. He was no longer in the passenger deck. He was lying in a strange chamber inside the ship. The walls were human-made metal, but glowing symbols floated above them. The air felt heavy. The lights hummed like something alive was hiding inside them. Ethan tried to sit up, but the blue mark on his wrist pulsed again, sending a cold wave through his arm. He looked around. There were no windows, no crew, no passengers, only him, and the symbols moving in the air like tiny stars dancing. He whispered, "Where am I?" He didn't expect an answer, but he got one. The symbols suddenly aligned into a single sentence, written in a language no human should understand. Yet Ethan understood every letter. The chosen must walk. His heart froze. Who wrote that? Why him? Why now? Before he could think, the doors of the chamber opened by themselves with a loud metal hiss. Ethan stood up slowly, fear and curiosity mixing inside him. Something was waiting for him outside. Something that changed his life, and maybe the fate of the human race. Ethan didn't wake up like a normal person. He woke up because the walls were breathing. The metal around him expanded and contracted like a living creature pulling air. Soft pulses of blue light spread across the room each time the walls moved. For a moment, Ethan thought the ship itself had come alive. He sat up slowly, heart pounding. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't imagination. The ship was different now. The floating symbols above him circled slowly, like they were waiting for him to stand. When Ethan touched the floor, they reacted. They glowed brighter and formed a perfect ring around him, as if welcoming him or trapping him. Then his wrist burned again. The mark, blue and sharp like a star, flashed once. The walls answered it. Lights rippled across the chamber, syncing with the glow on his wrist. Every pulse felt like a heartbeat. His heartbeat? Or something else's? Ethan grabbed his wrist, whispering, "What are you?" But the mark answered by glowing even brighter. Just then, a loud clang echoed to the hallway outside. Boots hitting metal floor. Multiple footsteps. People were coming toward the chamber fast. The doors didn't wait for them. They opened by themselves with a hiss. 3 security officers stepped in, pointing scanners at Ethan. One officer shouted, "Don't move. Stay where you are." But the scanners in their hands flickered wildly the moment they pointed them at Ethan. The screens turned black. Sparks flew. All 3 devices shut down at the same time. The officers froze. What is happening to the ship?" one whispered. "It's not the ship," another officer said quietly. "It's him." Ethan felt a chill. He wasn't dangerous. He didn't want to harm anyone. But the officers looked at him like he was something impossible. "Come with us," the head officer said cautiously. "Captain wants to see you. Now." Ethan nodded and stepped forward. The moment he crossed the door, the floating symbols followed him like a trail of light. The officers stepped back in fear. "What are those things?" one officer whispered. Ethan didn't know. But the symbols moved like they belonged to him, like they were loyal. As he walked through the hallway, Ethan noticed something terrifying. The ship was silent. Not engine noise. Not air circulation. Not footsteps. Nothing. Silence filled the corridors like the ship had been emptied of life. Lights flickered above him. Panels opened and closed with no command. The ship AI spoke in a soft, broken voice. Inhale, detected, chosen interface active. Ethan stopped. Chosen? Interface? What does that mean? But the AI stopped speaking. The officers pushed him forward. The captain will explain everything. As they turned a corner, they found a group of passengers huddled together in fear. A woman screamed when she saw Ethan. "That's him. He made the ship freeze. He's connected to that blue thing." A man pointed at Ethan's glowing wrist. "He's a reason we're trapped." Ethan stepped back in shock. No, I'm not doing anything." But the passengers didn't listen. Fear had already won. The captain appeared behind them, holding a datapad. His eyes were cold, calculating. "Mr. Hale," the captain said, "we scanned your body. That mark on your wrist, no human biology can explain it. It's not natural. And it activated itself exactly when that thing appeared outside the ship." Ethan swallowed. "I don't know what's happening to me." "I believe you," the captain said, "but the crew does not. And the passengers, they think you call that alien here." Before Ethan could reply, the ship suddenly shook, once, sharply, like something hit it from outside. Everyone grabbed the walls. The lights went red. Alarms blared. The blue symbols around Ethan glowed violently. swirling faster like they were protecting him. The AI's voice returned with a scream. Gravitational distortion. Unknown force pulling the ship deeper into the anomaly. The captain touched his earpiece. Where's the anomaly? A crew voice replied. Captain, we are not in our galaxy anymore. Everyone froze. What? The captain whispered. We checked all star patterns. We checked the navigation map. None of them match. We don't know where we are. Passengers began to cry. Officers panicked. The ship trembled again. The blue symbols around Ethan floated upward, forming a single line of light in front of him. The line turned into a sentence. Ethan read it softly. The Watcher is near. The captain stepped back. What Watcher? Ethan's voice shook as he looked toward the massive window at the end of the hallway, because something outside was moving. Not a ship, not a meteor. A silhouette made of blue stars walking slowly in the empty void. It was coming toward the ship, and Ethan felt his wrist burn again, like it was calling him, like it knew him. Ethan didn't begin part 3 by waking up. He began it by falling through a star. One moment he was standing in the ship's hallway, staring at the blue silhouette approaching from space. The next moment, the floor vanished under him. He didn't fall physically. He fell inside his mind. A blazing white light swallowed him, and suddenly he was standing in front of a massive star, burning alive, roaring like a living beast. But this star was wrong. Its flames didn't shine yellow or orange. They shone blue, the same blue as a mark on his wrist. The star pulsed once, and Ethan heard a voice inside his skull. You were not meant to see this galaxy, but you are here. Before he could speak, the light shattered like glass breaking, and Ethan crashed back into his body with a sharp gasp. He opened his eyes, and the world outside the ship was unrecognizable. The Aurora Voyager had drifted into a place where no human had ever been or should ever be. The stars were gone. The galaxy around him looked dead. A huge silent desert of black space with broken planets floating like ancient bones. Massive structures drifted near them. Ruins of alien machines the size of moons, covered in cracks and silent energy. The passengers pressed against the windows, whispering in fear. Where are we? Is this another universe? This place feels wrong. The captain stared at the dark horizon with shaking hands. Our scanners detect no star maps, no life, no heat signatures, nothing. Before anyone could breathe, the ship's engines died. The lights turned black. The heating stopped. Silence filled every corner, like a thick fog. The ship was now a lonely metal coffin floating in a dead galaxy. Ethan stepped forward, watching the dead planets and broken alien structures pass by. His heart pounded. His wrist glowed brighter every second, reacting to this place like this place knew him. How is it glowing? The captain asked, voice cracking. Ethan whispered, It reacts to something here. Then a low vibration shook the hull, slow, rumbling like the growl of a giant waking from sleep. Passengers screamed. Something's out there. I saw movement. It's looking at us. The blue silhouette from earlier appeared again, but now it looked clearer. It had a tall, thin body made of swirling starlight. As it approached, every dead alien structure nearby lit up faintly, as if recognizing it. Ethan stared in shock. The symbols around him appeared again, and aligned into a sentence. The Watchers found you. The captain stepped back quickly. Found him? What does it want with you? Ethan didn't know the answer, but he felt something new, a memory that wasn't his. A cold vision flashed in his mind. An ancient city built of blue crystal collapsing. A race of tall, glowing beings running for safety. A massive cosmic disaster swallowing stars. A group of beings pointing at a glowing mark. The same mark now glowing on Ethan's wrist. He gasped and held his head. Passengers stared at him like he was cursed. An old man whispered, He carries their mark, their curse, their past. The captain turned to his officers. Take him to the restricted deck. Keep him under watch. We cannot let him move freely. But the ship didn't agree. As two officers grabbed Ethan, the entire hallway lights turned blue. The doors slammed shut on their own. The floor shook violently. The ship AI screamed. Warning. Energy signature match detected. Source, Ethan Hale. Accessing ancient archive. Ethan's ears rang. The walls around him transformed. Human metal panels folded away and revealed alien symbols glowing underneath. Like the ship had been hiding something ancient all along. A large door opened at the end of the hallway, one that wasn't on the ship's blueprint. It led to a pitch-black chamber. Light slowly filled the room, revealing something impossible. A recording device millions of years old, and on its surface, written clearly in glowing letters, Ethan Hale, access granted. The captain staggered back in disbelief. That device, it knows your name, how? Ethan swallowed hard, terrified. I don't know, he whispered, but whatever pulled us into this dead galaxy wants me to see this. The chamber door opened wider, releasing a cold breath of ancient air. The symbols floated around Ethan again. They assembled into one message. Enter. History awaits. Ethan took a small step forward. His wrist mark glowed brighter. The watcher outside the ship stopped moving. Like it was waiting, the crew held their breath. Passengers stared in silence, because now it was clear. This galaxy wasn't dead. It was waiting, and Ethan was the key.
Ethan did not begin part 4 by opening a door. He began it by standing on a world that no longer existed. The moment he stepped toward the ancient chamber, the ship vanished from around him, not physically, but inside his mind. The dark hallway dissolved into dust, and Ethan found himself standing on the cracked ground of a forgotten planet. Above him, a sky of shattered moons hung like broken mirrors. The air glowed faint blue. The ground pulsed with a heartbeat that wasn't his. The ruins around him were massive, towers taller than mountains, fallen into silence millions of years ago. He whispered, "Where am I?" A voice answered, not from the sky, not from the ground, but from inside the ruins themselves. "You have stepped into memory, human, a memory older than your galaxy." The voice echoed like it belonged to 1,000 beings speaking at once. Ethan spun around, and a figure appeared behind him. Not the Watcher, not the blue silhouette. This was something else. A hologram, but alive. A tall figure made of pure white light, wearing armor of flowing energy, with a symbol on its chest, the same symbol glowing on Ethan's wrist. It looked down at him with sorrow. "Ethan Hale, you carry our last echo." The hologram raised its hand, and the dead planet came alive. Blue fire swept through the ruins, rebuilding the city as Ethan watched. Towers rose. Streets formed. A shining civilization appeared around him, beautiful and impossibly advanced. Creatures like the hologram walked everywhere. Their bodies glowed. Their voices harmonized like music. They were peaceful, powerful, wise. Then the sky tore open. A black crack split the heavens. Light died. Stars collapsed like falling sand. Ethan stepped back in terror. "What is that?" The hologram's voice became heavy with grief. "Our end. The great collapse." Ethan watched the once living city burn. He watched the glowing beings vanish in waves of light. He watched a cosmic disaster swallow an entire empire in minutes. Then he saw something even more terrifying. A group of glowing beings gathered around a giant crystal gate. Inside the gate, Ethan saw something impossible. A human infant, sleeping, peaceful, placed gently inside a cocoon of energy. The hologram's voice whispered, "We did not create you. We sent you." Ethan stared, frozen. "Sent me? When? How? Why?" The hologram stepped closer. "To survive when we could not. To carry what our bodies no longer could. To wake when the stars call your name again." Ethan's heartbeat stopped. He wasn't chosen. He wasn't lucky. He wasn't random. He was sent. Before he could ask more, the memory collapsed like ash in the wind. The planet dissolved. The ruins vanished. The sky faded to black. And Ethan found himself back inside the ancient chamber of the ship, breathing hard, trembling, drenched in sweat. The captain stood frozen at the entrance, watching Ethan in shock. "What happened to you?" the captain whispered. Ethan looked up. His eyes glowed faint blue for a moment. I saw their world, Ethan said quietly. It was alive once. And they sent someone into the future, into our time. The captain stepped closer. Sent who? Ethan touched the glowing mark on his wrist.
Me.
Silence filled the chamber. The floating symbols reacted instantly. They arranged themselves into a perfect circle and projected a hologram message into the center of the room. A massive alien figure appeared, taller than any human, its body made of galaxies swirling inside a humanoid shape. Its voice echoed through the ship. Starbound key detected. The crew gasped. The captain stared at Ethan. That's you.
They're talking about you.
The hologram continued. The Watcher will guide. The Chosen must open the gate before the dead galaxy falls. Ethan felt the mark on his wrist burn again, this time not painful, but heavy with responsibility. He whispered, "What gate?" Before the hologram could answer, the entire chamber shook violently. The ship AI screamed, "Captain! Gravity waves approaching. The galaxy is moving. The dead stars are collapsing." The hologram's voice thundered. "There is no time. Human Ethan Hale, the first contact must finish." And then the strangest thing happened. Another hologram appeared beside the alien figure. A human hologram. A human man. With Ethan's face. The captain stumbled backward. What is that?" The alien hologram spoke one final sentence. "This is you, from before." The chamber fell silent. Ethan shook. His mind spun. Before?
Before what?
Before humanity? Before time? His past was older than Earth itself. It opened with a star screaming. Not exploding. Not dying. Screaming. The sound echoed across space like a giant crying in pain, deep, ancient, and violent, shaking the dead galaxy itself. Every broken planet, every ruined structure, every silent moon vibrated like they remembered something terrible. Inside the Aurora Voyager, every light turned blood red. Passengers dropped to the ground, covering their ears. The ship AI stuttered like it was terrified. WW warning, stellar collapse, but no star is supposed to be alive in this region. Then the star appeared in the window. Not a normal star. A dark blue sun, burning backward, its flames pulling inward instead of outward, like the universe was sucking its light away. The captain whispered, "In all human records, no star has ever behaved like this." Ethan stepped forward. The mark on his wrist glowed the same color as the collapsing star. The crew backed away from him. "Why is your mark reacting?" an officer shouted. "What are you doing?" But Ethan wasn't doing anything. The star was reacting to him, as if the star recognized him, as if the star remembered him. The Watcher, the tall being of blue starlight, appeared outside again, walking through space like gravity meant nothing. Everything around it bent and shook. Even the dead galaxy seemed afraid of it. Then the Watcher lifted its hand. The collapsing star shook harder, roaring like an injured beast. The ship AI screamed. Multiple gravity waves approaching. Brace for impact. The first wave hit. The ship tilted sideways. People crashed into walls. Panels burst open. Sparks fell like rain. In the chaos, Ethan saw something horrifying. The dead planets around them were breaking apart, lifting into the air, turning into clouds of dust, pulled toward the collapsing star. The entire galaxy was waking up to die. The captain grabbed Ethan by the shoulders. "Your visions, your memories. Tell us, what is happening?" Ethan stared at the star with shaking eyes. I think the collapse is connected to me, or to the ones who sent me." "What collapse?" the captain shouted. "The Great Collapse," Ethan whispered. "The disaster that destroyed the ancient race. The same collapse is happening again right here, right now." Another shockwave blasted through the ship. Passengers screamed. Metal bent. The ship began drifting forward uncontrollably toward the collapsing star. "We're being pulled in," a pilot cried. The officers tried to activate the engines, but the controls sparked and died. The ship was no longer a ship. It was a leaf in a cosmic hurricane. The Watcher moved closer, stopping right outside the main window. its glowing eyes focused on Ethan alone, even as the galaxy burned around them. The floating symbols appeared and formed a massive ring of light around him. They wrote one sentence. The ritual begins. The captain grabbed Ethan's arm. What ritual? What does it want from you? Before Ethan could answer, the entire ship stretched, literally stretched, as a gravity wave passed through. The hallways bent like rubber. Floors rippled like water. Human screams blended with metal screams. The ship AI choked. Warning, structural integrity at TT 20%. Gravitational anomalies unexplainable. Ethan felt his chest tightening. His vision blurred. Every bone in his body vibrated with the collapsing galaxy. He collapsed to his knees, holding his head. Vision slammed into his mind like lightning strikes. Alien children crying as cities burned. The ancient race running toward a giant energy gate. The Watcher lifting a glowing child. A voice. He must return when the stars begin to scream. Ethan gasped. The child in the vision was him. He whispered, shaking, I was sent through time, through universes to stop this, to stop the second collapse. The captain stared at him in horror. You're telling me this galaxy is collapsing because it wants you? Ethan didn't answer. He couldn't. The collapsing star shot out a final wave, stronger than anything before. The ship tore apart in places. Whole sections of metal ripped loose and flew into space. Passengers floated as gravity died completely. Everyone screamed. But Ethan didn't. He stood up. For the first time, the blue glow didn't hurt. It flowed through him like energy from a living sun. His eyes turned bright blue. The symbols circled him like a crown. The Watcher bowed its head outside the ship. For the first time, Ethan understood. He wasn't chosen. He wasn't lucky. He wasn't special. He was built. Built from pieces of a dying empire. Built to open something ancient. The captain shouted over the alarms. Ethan, tell us what you have to do. Ethan turned toward the collapsing star. His voice was calm. I have to open the Starbound gate. The room fell silent, even as the galaxy burned. It started with Ethan standing inside a star that was not born yet. He wasn't burning. He wasn't dying. He wasn't even human in that moment. He was floating inside a giant sphere of blue fire, fire that did not hurt, fire that moved like living water, fire that whispered his name in 1,000 voices. Ethan, Ethan Hale, you have returned. Every flame formed faces of the ancient race. Every flame showed memories of a world that once lived. Every flame recognized him, not as a stranger, but as a child coming home. Ethan tried to breathe, but he had no lungs here. He tried to move, but he had no weight. He tried to speak, but the star answered instead. You were scattered across time. Now you awaken. Suddenly, the star collapsed inward, and Ethan snapped back to reality. He found himself standing in the broken hallway of the Aurora Voyager. Gravity was gone. Metal floated like leaves in a quiet storm. Passengers drifted unconscious. Alarms repeated the same broken warning. Structural failure. Galactic collapse. Cannot stabilize. But Ethan was no longer struggling. He was glowing. Light poured out of his skin like soft fire. His hair floated weightlessly. His eyes shined with the same blue as the collapsing star outside. The captain stared at him in shock. Ethan, are you even human anymore? Ethan looked back at him with calm, steady eyes. I don't know. The Watcher appeared outside the ship again, closer than ever. Its enormous body of swirling starlight pressed its hand on the ship's hull. It wasn't attacking. It was waiting. Ethan floated down the hallway, not walking, levitating slowly. The symbols followed him like loyal guardians, swirling around him like stars orbiting a planet. When he reached the main observation deck, the entire crew stepped back, even the captain, because outside the window, something terrifying was happening. The collapsing blue star had formed a gigantic ring of energy around itself, a ring the size of a planet, a ring that pulsed with an ancient rhythm. Ethan whispered, "The gate." The symbols around him formed a straight line, pointing toward the star. The Watcher's voice filled the ship for the first time, deep and echoing. Open it. The captain grabbed Ethan's shoulder. Open what? You want to destroy us? Ethan looked at him with a sad, heavy expression. No, if I don't open it, the galaxy will collapse and kill everyone. Not just us. Every world. Every life. Why you? The captain shouted. Ethan looked at the glowing mark on his wrist. Because I am what they created. I am the key they left behind. The ship trembled as another gravity wave hit it. Walls bent. People screamed. Panels burst open and flew like blades. But Ethan didn't move. He raised one glowing hand. And everything stopped. For the first time in history, a single human stopped a gravity wave with nothing but the energy flowing through his body. The crew stared in silence. What are you? An officer whispered. Ethan answered softly. A bridge. A doorway. A piece of something ancient trying to wake up. He looked toward the dying star. I have to finish what they started. He floated toward the airlock. The ship opened the door for him, without being commanded. Everyone shouted at once. Ethan, stop. You'll die. No one can survive outside. The gravity will tear you apart. But Ethan didn't look back. He stepped into space like stepping onto a quiet road. His feet touched nothing. His body glowed brighter. His heart beat slower. And the Watcher bowed to him. The galaxy bowed to him. The dead planets trembled. The ruins lit up with forgotten symbols. The collapsing star paused its scream. Everything waited. Ethan raised both hands. The symbols swirled around his arms like blue fire snakes. Energy gathered in his chest, pure, ancient, cosmic. His voice echoed across space. Open. The star responded. A beam of blue energy shot out from Ethan into the collapsing sun. The ring of energy around the star widened. The dead galaxy shook. The Watcher lifted its arms, helping him. The gate began to form. A doorway of pure light. A bridge through the universe. A path that could save everyone. But Ethan felt the cost. His body felt lighter. His heartbeat felt slower. His mind felt older. He whispered to himself, if I open this gate, I won't be Ethan anymore. But he didn't stop. Because somewhere behind him, inside the ship, thousands of humans were depending on him. And millions of lives in the universe were watching him. The gate roared open. The blue sun exploded inward, turning into a vortex of pure light. The ship was sucked toward it, fast, uncontrollably. The crew screamed. The captain grabbed the controls, even though they were dead. But Ethan didn't move. He stood in space like a statue made of stars. He whispered one final sentence before the light swallowed everything. Let them live. And the gate obeyed. It began with the universe forgetting Ethan's name. One moment, he stood in space, glowing like a living star, opening the gate with all the ancient power inside him. And then, the universe blinked. When it opened its eyes again, Ethan Hale was gone. Not dead. Not erased. Just forgotten by reality. But Ethan wasn't truly gone. He found himself standing in a place with no sky, no stars,
No time.
a white empty field stretched in every direction. Soft wind blew even though there was no air. Shadows moved even though there was no light. Ethan whispered, "Is this death?" A deep voice answered behind him,
No.
"This is transition." Ethan turned around. The Watcher stood there, taller, brighter, more complete than before. Its eyes now held galaxies inside them. "You crossed the gate," the Watcher said. "Your human form cannot follow. But your essence has survived." Ethan looked down. His hands were not human anymore. Not flesh.
Not bone.
They were made of soft blue light, like starlight shaped into a person. He stepped back in fear. What am I now?" The Watcher bowed its head. "You are the Starbound Key. You are what we once were, and what your race will one day become." Ethan felt a deep ache inside him. He wasn't ready. He didn't want power. He wanted to go home. He whispered, "I want to go back to the ship, to the people, to my life." The Watcher slowly shook its head. Ethan Hale no longer exists in physical space. The words cut deeper than any pain he had ever felt. And then he saw it. A shining tear in the white field. A window. Through it, Ethan could see the Aurora Voyager, the human ship flying safely through the gate he opened. Passengers were waking up. Children were crying. Families were hugging. The captain was shouting orders, trying to calm everyone. He saw them live. He saw them survive. And then he saw something that broke him. Near the shattered control panel, someone had placed Ethan's jacket, folded carefully, like a memorial. Passengers whispered, "He saved us. He opened the gate. He gave his life. Ethan Hale, our hero." Ethan touched the window, his glowing fingers passing through the light. "I'm still here," he whispered. "I'm right here." But they couldn't hear him. They couldn't see him, because he wasn't human anymore. The Watcher stepped closer, speaking gently. "Every key must make a choice." Ethan looked up. What choice? The Watcher stretched its arm, and the white field changed into a vast star map, a huge glowing network of galaxies, swirling, connected by threads of ancient gateways. Billions of stars lit up. The Watcher said, "This universe is wounded. Gateways are broken. Galaxies are collapsing. We died trying to repair them." It looked straight into Ethan's glowing eyes. "But you can continue our work." Ethan felt the weight of 1 billion lives pressing into his chest. I don't know how." "You do," the Watcher replied, touching the glowing mark on Ethan's wrist. "That mark is not a symbol. It is a command, a memory, a path. You opened one gate, now you can open 1,000. Ethan's voice trembled. "And if I refuse?" The star map dimmed. Galaxies flickered. Worlds faded. Finally, the Watcher spoke. "Then the collapse will return. And everything, human or alien, will end." Ethan closed his glowing eyes. He remembered the passengers, the children, the screams, the fear, the hope. He remembered the dying star, the ancient race, the collapsing galaxy. He remembered who he used to be, and who he had become. He opened his eyes. "I will protect them," he whispered. "All of them. No matter how far. No matter how long." The Watcher bowed deeply, showing respect only given to kings. "Then rise. Ethan of Earth. Ethan of the ancient light. Ethan, the last human starwalker." The gate behind him closed forever. The Aurora Voyager flew into safe space, carrying humans to a new world, never knowing that a piece of Ethan still watched over them. The captain wrote a report in secret logs. "He saved us. He saved everyone. If stars ever shine differently, it will be because of him." Passengers named the nearest newborn star after him, the Starbound Guardian. But far above them, in the silent dark between galaxies, a blue figure walked alone, opening new gates, closing ancient wounds, keeping cosmic darkness away. His voice whispered across dead galaxies, "Let them live." And the universe obeyed. Ethan Hale was gone. The Starwalker remained.